Adoption of agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
Can I have a seconder? Second. All in favor? Adoption of minutes. 3.1 recommendation.
Council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting of March 21st, 2018 as presented.
Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Introduction of late items. We have some late items tonight. We have, where are they? 8.7, DC Chamber of Commerce, luncheon with MLA Mike Burnley. And 8.5, that should go before that. Travel and per diem for Community Solar Initiative celebration. And 8.6, travel to Halifax for FNC conference. And then one for a motion on cannabis, but we'll get into that one in a bit. Okay, we have public hearing none, and we have a delegation 6.1 recommendation.
Recommend the council hear the delegation from the cabinet.
I'll second. All in favor? Go ahead, guys.
I'm Tyson Polfu, with Canada. I'm the manager of Rural East Construction, Community Relations, and Indigenous Relations. We thank you guys for having Canada here today. As well, I have Patsy Vick. She's our lead of Community Relations, and Brian Liebers, who's our senior advisor here in the Dawson area. So I'll give you a kind of a quick overview, high level of where Encana is. And then kind of drill down a little bit into what our activity is in this area for 2018. So Encana currently has inventory in 4 of the most exciting plays in North America. We have the Montney right here, which is right outside of Scoopy, Dawson Creek. It also extends over into the Pipestone area, which is just north of Wembley. We have the Duvernay as well, which is by Fox Creek. And then we have 2 other assets, the Permian and the Eagleford, which are both down in Texas. Our Montney is a world-class liquid-rich condensate play. It's been self-funded and has significant liquids growth. And the Duvernay is an asset that the world is getting to appreciate quickly for its true potential. Between the Montney and the Duvernay, we have over 10,000 locations. And just in the Montney itself, we have 9,500 locations. We do have a 5-year strategy for both of these areas. In 2018 will be another strong year, coupled by expanding margins for Encana. All of our core assets are expected to generate free cash flow. We expect our total production to grow by approximately 30%, driven by the Permian and our Montney assets. The 2018 growth profile will be weighted in the second half of the year. This is the result of 2 additional liquids hubs that are coming on in the Montney in the 4th quarter. So 2018 is setting up to be another great year for Encana. We expect to pass 400 million BOE per year. This is an outcome of disciplined capital allocation and aligned with our strategy that we have. As a reminder, our core asset production was approximately 235 million BOE per day at the end of 2016, just over a year ago. Our drilling activity peaks in the first half of the year, and it's expected to drop after that. If you look at the number of wells we're going to drill right here, this is the CRP, which is known as the BC side of our property. We're looking at doing 85 to 95 wells, and then in the Pipestone area, which is outside of Wembley, 25 to 30 wells is what we're looking for in that area.
So are those 80 to 95 wells out in this area too?
Correct. Yeah, both in the Dawson, we call it the Dawson South, Dawson North area for us is how we, if I go back one slide, right here, the Dawson South, North, and Tower is kind of what we classify. This is our land base, and Goose would be like right in here. Our 2000 drilling activity will be heavily concentrated in the North Tower area, represented by the dark circle you see right up here. Currently we have 7 rigs running. We have 4 up in this north area, and then we have 3 down in this area right in here. Significant pipeline infrastructure as well that we have to transport our liquids. And we also have the NCLH hub, which is coming on stream in Q4 of 2018. Targeting Q4 2018 production of 55 to 65 million barrels per day, double of what we exited the year last year in this area.
Can I ask what some of these acronyms are using? Some of them I don't understand what they mean, what they represent.
So which one would you?
Most of them.
NCLH is a North Central Liquid Hub. So,
Okay,
yeah.
and some of the other ones, the first slide you had used, I don't know, about 4 or 5 acronyms there.
MBO, so million barrels of oil equivalent. So it's how we measure both our gas and our oil mixture. It's a million barrels per oil equivalent is how it's termed.
Yeah, there's a few other acronyms you use.
Right.
I probably understand it more if you let us know what the acronyms mean.
Okay, what I'll try and do is I won't say the acronym, I'll say the full word.
Okay.
Perfect. Our cube development in Canada, we're focused on delivering the greatest value from our stacked clay reservoirs. We believe that and understand how the wells interact with each other, and the system is critical to us. Across our portfolio, we continue to test new benches, conducting spacing and stacking trials. Our short cycle times and real-time data analytics allow us to quickly incorporate learnings into our future development, making each cube better and better. At the surface of our cube development, approaching provides significant capital cost efficiencies. By drilling multiple wells from a single surface location, we are able to apply leverage economics of scale, shared services, stockpiling our materials, and reoccupying our facilities. We utilize concurrent operations to deploy multiple drilling rigs and completion spreads, and on our locations to keep time short.
So that means also that they won't interfere into another well?
Yeah, correct. So when we have a drilling rig here, we won't frack at the same time. We try and make sure that they're spaced apart, because there will be interference at times. Our focused operations demand sophisticated planning and logistics to translate into getting the job done safely and efficiently. Our approach both creates value and helps manage the risk. We understand the effects in the community with more intensity early, which in turn helps us get out of the area quicker. Here's a couple of our facilities that came on in 2017. So the 3-7 power plant, that came on in September of 2017. The 15-27 Saturn, that came on in November of 2017. And the 4-26 came on in October of 2017. Again, targeting our Q4 2018 production to be between 55 and 65 million barrels per day of condensate, doubling our Q4 2017 rates. 42G, which is our South Central Liquids Hub, that came on stream in October of 2007, that came on stream in May of 2017, and then we had a phase 2 that came on stream in December of 2017. Our 5-27 NCLH, which is our North Central Liquids Hub, we're expecting that to come on stream on Q4 of 2018.
And the 4-2G is the water hub, right?
That's right, or that's the one off the Block Line Road.
Electrification of upstream gas facilities. This is a picture of the Tower 3-7 on the right. Canada is home to a world-class liquid-rich natural gas and light tight oil opportunity, on par with the U.S. resource plays that led to the shale revolution. Along with recognizing the great potential of the liquid-rich natural gas and tight oil for government revenues, jobs, and investment in Canada's economy, industry understands and supports the goals of reducing emissions, encouraging a more robust energy mix. In Canada's Tower gas plant, major equipment including compression is powered by BC Hydro, resulting in reduced emissions. An example is electrification of these new natural gas plants near Dawson Creek, the 3 largest facilities built in Western Canada in the last 20 years. They use the hydro-generated electricity to power the plants, demonstrate industry's leadership in providing affordable energy while reducing environmental impacts. Hydropower will reduce the plant's CO2 emissions by approximately 860,000 tons per year. This is the equivalent of annually taking approximately 184,000 vehicles off the road, making it one of the largest GHG reduction projects in British Columbia.
So GHG,
Greenhouse gas, sorry. In addition to the significantly less carbon footprint, hydroelectrification increases the operation reliability of the plant. It also reduces plant noise for local stakeholders and consistent with Canada's Courtesy Matters long-time good neighbor policy. Water resources are critical for all of us, essential for the communities throughout Northeast British Columbia. Water is also important for the development of hydrocarbons, and we go to great lengths to manage this valuable resource efficiently. We will continue to evaluate the sources and additional non-potable sources to offset our supplemental water supplies. Using the City of Dawson's Creek reclaimed water is an example of collaborating for achieve mutual benefit. Water transportation through overland water lines also reduces the amount of truck traffic that you see on the road.
you guys should have gave me this when I went to Ottawa.
There's a question behind you.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, sorry.
I noticed you talk a lot about environmental impact and the low, you're trying to impact the environment as low as possible. And you also stated in there that you guys would try not to frack the same time you're drilling in the same area. So, in other words, there is actually might get to be some fracking done the same time they're drilling in the same area, because you said you're trying not to. And also, the job impact on the environment in this area. On these plants, we've noticed that about probably 90-some% of them are all outside employees from other areas, other provinces, everything like that. They're flowing in, and they're flowing out. So the impact to the economy around here is lessened because of that. What steps are they going to take to ensure that a lot of these jobs are going to be, some of these full-time jobs, are they going to be local? Are they going to be hiring everybody from out of town? Are they going to be flying them in like they're doing now? Because by the way, sorry, my name is Walter Manal.
Yeah.
I'm the regional director for Region 7 for the Métis Nation of BC.
Okay.
We've noticed in these Saturn plants and the other plant here, the two bigger ones, that most of the employees are there are not, barely anybody's from here. They're flying everybody in out of Calgary, out of Edmonton, out of other provinces, other places, Vancouver, and then they fly them home on their days off. So we're not actually getting as much of the economy impact as they were saying, as what people are saying. Are they doing anything to rectify that or change that at all in Canada?
Yeah, I can speak to it a little bit. So, and Brian can probably speak to it more as far as how many local employees we have out here in all of our plants and our facilities that we have. And off the top of my head, and Brian maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I would probably say we have close to 70 out here.
Yeah, I think in the last year it was close to 50 new hires, and all of those individuals would have been from the Dawson, Fort St. John, Chetwynd area. The construction was kind of a unique skill set for some of those, but the long-term jobs, which is the operator jobs, those were filled by individuals all locally.
Okay, yeah, because the construction of it, there was not too much local at all. I was at those plants, and I noticed a lot of people flying in and out. Even, I think we had managed to get 10 people on there during that from locally, but they had to stay in camp. But everybody was just flying in and out. They weren't really staying in town, or they weren't affecting the economy around Dawson or Fort St. John or Pouce Coupe.
Okay, Walter,
Yeah.
we have to now get back to the presentation.
Sorry,
because they
yeah.
only have a certain amount of time. Thank you.
Is there something that we can, I know that you guys said in an earlier presentation that there's something that you can show local, how many people are local, your local content. Is there not a stat on that?
Yeah, we can provide that.
And then we can maybe put it on our website or something?
Yeah, we
like
can
that?
put it on our website.
Yeah, we can provide how many local employees we have.
Oh, where you
Also,
got
these
this
resources on how to become qualified.
Oh, okay,
So very easy mine as well as these community studies.
perfect.
So Sunset Prairie Lodge, I'll quickly touch base on Sunset Prairie Lodge. So again, peak occupancy for this camp was 1,500 towards the end of 2017. Encana was able to execute successful project in the area with no delays on accommodations for our major projects. We do have Encana completion crews currently inside of the camp right now. Sunset Prairie Lodge is on LodgeLink, so it's like any hotel. It's like a booking.com. You can go on there right now and you can book a room and stay inside of that facility. The current rates are aligned with the hotelier's day rates. And Encana is currently working towards the new ownership of Sunset Prairie Lodge. Current capacity today is at 400 people inside of the camp. Safety first. For Encana, we are committed to safety of our workers and the communities in which we operate. We've just completed one of our safest year on record, and it starts with a strong safety program, culture, and a disciplined commitment for safe operating procedures. We continuously strive with improvements and efficiencies, mitigate potential impacts to the community and the environment that we work in. To ensure our long-term development, we recognize the work that we must do with our local stakeholders and our Indigenous communities. Patsy did mention that we do have a Doing Business with Encana brochure that we can leave behind. It is also on Encana's website. There has been significant spend on infrastructure development and continued focus on local content for the facilities, the pipelines, and the pads. Strong emphasis for utilizing local BC Services contractors and Indigenous joint venture partnerships. Encana has supported the South Peace Business Directory with a letter of support, and it's been internally communicated within the company and within the contractors that work for us. Stakeholder engagement and community investment go hand in hand and are vital to our sustainable business approach. Encana has contributed over $11.5 million to the Northeast BC over the past decade. Some of these include the Dawson Creek Hospital Foundation, Pooskoopi Legion, local food banks, the Encana Event Center, Spark Women's Conference, and the 2017 World Under U17 Men's Hockey Challenge that was recently here. Some of our ongoing engagement efforts we do annually throughout the year, outreach both to municipal and stakeholders, information sessions, fall barbecue, Courtesy Matters Community Advisor Group, and recently this year the Energy IQ map that we gave to the school district. This is just one of our rigs from last summer, 15-7 location in Dawson South.
Did I miss it?
Did I miss it? Oh, I did miss it, sorry. I'll jump right by that one. Courtesy Matters is a shared responsibility of our staff, contractors, and our service providers focused on reducing impacts related to traffic, garbage, gates, road, and lease activity. Courtesy Matters Advisory Committee has been active in the existence for 10 years now, and we've introduced road monitors recently in some of our areas to proactively ensure our service providers are following the rules and dealing with delinquent companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Claire, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to see this here.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Claire will babysit them.
We'll follow up with you next Monday then or so.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Brian.
See you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming. See you guys make tarts.
This hall.
Yeah, you're all right.
Okay, we're up.
And the next delegation,
Council here, the delegation for Pooskoopi Esso.
can I get a seconder? I'll second. All in favor? Ken, Michelle?
Yeah, you know it's gonna be. No, Tim and I have been given some thought, as all of you are aware, they will be legalizing marijuana as of July 1st. And we have received somewhat of a bit of notification that it's small liquor stores like us who will be able to apply for these licenses. The information that we've been given is very vague. We have no idea when it will be approved, if it will be approved. We're here today because we would like to know if the Village of Pouce Coupe or the council would have any problems with us applying for this marijuana license. It all coincides with their liquor license, our criminal record checks, all of that, right? Because everything is regulated. We've been told there will be, what we will sell looks similar to like a 20-pack of cigarettes. It won't be edibles or anything like that. And it's bought from specific locations through the government and stuff. And we would ask if we could get a letter saying that you are not opposed to us applying for this.
Well, we, because it's not legalized, right?
Right.
There's not much we can do until it is legalized, right? So,
The reason we were asked to talk to you was it is one step in the process of us
When it does become legalized,
Right.
we'll letter it.
knowing that you're not against us applying for it.
I'm sure I would not be against it for you guys to apply for it.
Would you be able to
But I-
provide a letter
No,
saying
I
that you're,
can, I cannot.
until it's
And
legal?
not just a letter to us, just to anybody that might happen to
No,
ask.
we can't until it's legalized.
We can't confirm something that is illegal now until they say it's
Yeah,
not.
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay,
At least it gets it in everybody's mind.
it was our liquor inspector, who will be the marijuana inspector, who gave us the recommendation to bring it to your attention, because apparently there are other cities that are putting bylaws in place where they're, all information is so vague right now, none of us really know.
And neither do we.
They're scared once it does become
Right.
legal, that it's just gonna be a mass small.
I know.
Everybody's gonna be.
And as
buying
far
at
as
the
we
same
know,
time.
it is like a lottery, it's,
No, it's gonna
Right.
take 4 years to do manufacturing. It'll take them 4 years license to do any manufacturing.
they've started it though.
Yes.
I know that they have started all of that, and if apparently the applications are coming out in the next couple of weeks. By the time everything goes through, and let's say we are approved, we're looking at August before anything goes through. One big hurdle was just to make sure if it's legal, if there will be an issue with council.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Secondly, we have one more thing. What are the odds of getting the bylaw of no fireworks changed? We have been asked consistently if we would be able to sell fireworks. They would be sold in the liquor store, you have to be 19 to purchase it. Rolla does it, Farmington does it, Baytree does it.
Big cities do it now, Prince George.
Why does Pouce not allow us to sell fireworks?
Go ahead, Mark.
I think on our books, we do have a policy that you have to have a permit to do fireworks.
Blair would be the one to.
Yeah, Blair would be the one to talk to.
Because we had approached this before,
Nobody has
and we were told
permits,
it was a
and
fire.
they do it all the time.
Yeah,
Right.
I noticed like they're in Vancouver and like bigger cities where they used to never sell them before, now they have like fireworks stores.
And originally, years ago, we were told that it was a fire bylaw, and I'm like, I don't know.
There we go.
Blair, they are asking a question about fireworks.
We would like to know if there's a bylaw in effect that states we cannot sell fireworks at our store. They would be for sale strictly in a liquor store. We have to be 19 to enter, like, the premises, buy the product. Because Farmington does it, Rolla does it, everyone around does it.
By law, you're allowed to sell it. The gray area is, people don't, but the gray area is they're supposed to be licensed to set them off. That's the issue.
But anybody who buys these products is not licensed to set them off. So
Exactly.
like, how do you,
But like in the bigger, I've noticed lately, like in Vancouver, they'll have like a big fireworks store now. Whereas 20 years ago they didn't, but like.
Yeah, everybody does it. Unless it's changed since a couple of years ago, that's how it was stated. That like, I can go in your store and I can buy them, but by law, I'm supposed to have a license to set them off.
and if they got this license, where would they even go to get that? Is it like a fishing license, you go online?
There's a course, and I'm not sure how long the course is, probably just
Because we do get asked often if we will bring them
I can
in.
find out.
Please, because we were told originally it was a fire bylaw.
And even if it was for like a, well, not 12 months of the year, but say before, say Halloween or New Year, July
Yeah.
1st, New Year's,
And we're not talking an extensive amount of them, we're just talking a small
you can only
display.
buy them to a certain.
Right.
The other issue that I've spoken with the RCMP about is there is, again, because of that gray area, it's so many to try to monitor that they just even gave up because when it went to court, it was just kind of laughed at.
So you're pretty much saying what you don't see, you can't comment on it, right?
It's a gray
The
area.
houses are so close together too. Right?
You know, I
And
mean-
if they catch on fire.
Right,
Then they call litter.
but it's not any different than other issues when people leave the premise of your building, and, you know, we just wanted to kind of discuss
I
that.
can find out exactly and I can print off the laws.
Because I'm not talking these great big huge screaming machines, we're just talking like just a few little ones in our store, right?
Going?
I just, maybe council should bring it forward, if we have any bylaws, or get staff to look to see if we have any bylaws or what permits and stuff. Maybe look into it before we can make any decisions. And also, council should look at the marijuana, I guess, too, and what,
Because we were told there was a bylaw at one time, but we've never seen one, so.
But we've never asked that.
Well, I'll put a motion on the floor that, to direct council or administration to, look into it.
And get back to you.
Okay. Now concerning the license, do you need us to keep you informed?
For,
The
Marijuana
license,
license?
yes. I don't know how that all works, but we can let you know. I mean, for all we know, we might not get it.
Or it might be worth too much that we don't.
Like, we have no idea how
Well,
much the actual physical license is even gonna be. It could be millions of dollars, we have no idea. We just wanted to bring it to your attention that we were thinking of doing it. And one of the reasons Tim and I discussed why we would like to bring it in is with everything that's going on now, we know this product will be clean. It is gonna be so regulated and taxed, I'm sure you guys are aware of that, that this product comes from certain places where it's checked and checked and checked.
Seed to sale.
So, but you understand what I mean? Like, I feel people are getting to the point where they're scared of buying stuff off the street, that if they know, right? And it's, yeah. But our thing also is it cannot be part of our liquor store. I cannot sell it anywhere where I have cigarettes or lottery tickets.
oh, really?
Oh, the rules
They
are
might
brutal.
change that in rural areas.
Yeah,
Because, you know, a little place that has 600 people, if someone thinks they're gonna buy a piece of land and build a building and pay their taxes and their insurance just by selling a little bit of weed in
You
a
can
place
buy
like five,
cookies there,
600.
oh.
No,
Buy
you won't.
cookies, there you go.
No.
If anything, we would
It's nice
possibly
that
look
that
at
place is not-
revamping like the water store or something. It wouldn't be a big area that we would have it. We just can't have it in the liquor store, which I think is ridiculous.
Or in the store.
You can't sell anything else, right?
No,
No,
not
just that.
that.
But to me, if you have, you're 19, you should be able to buy your alcohol, because we have
You just
alcohol.
go through each door.
They'll make us have a separate door for it, yes. So we'll have to look at doing renovations of some kind if it's approved. I can't even imagine the list of rules that are gonna come with it, but
It'll be the same as alcohol, really.
yeah.
It's really-
Because we had
it's
to
really
go
no
through
different
major
than alcohol.
hoops to get the liquor license, and then we needed your approval to move it in 2 blocks, remember? So we just wanted, we'll keep you informed and let you know how it's going, but.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Please do.
thank you.
Thank you.
Unfinished business arising from the minutes. 7.1 recommendation.
Recommend that council adopts policy 8.1, council code of conduct as presented.
Oh, second?
All in favor or any discussion? This is the one you guys tabled the other one I wasn't here.
I just think the dress code it's very ambiguous, so it just really actually doesn't mean anything in this whole thing, so, fine.
So you're in favor?
Well, it's ambiguous.
All in favor? 7.2 recommendation.
Council adopt policy 8.2, council benefits as presented.
Make a seconder.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Just, hang on.
Sorry, computer problem?
No, I just, we're talking about the council benefits?
Yes.
Was there not a sheet that we were supposed to look at from last week regarding that? Or is that a different one? Oh, that's the next one, sorry. Do we have that sheet still?
Which one are you
The
referring?
expenses? 'Cause we had a print up from last, and then we tabled it.
I wasn't here.
No. Okay.
So we are on the council adopts policy 8.2 council benefits as presented.
Okay.
So is there any discussion on that?
Yeah.
All in favor? 8, new business, 8.1.
The council received the information on the outcome of the public input regarding the sale of the old.
Where is this one?
Oh,
7.3.
7.3, sorry.
The council received draft policy 8.3 council expenses as information.
Can I get a second? Any discussion? Information? All in favor? 8.2, new business.
We haven't had a,
We're doing it now.
No, we studied.
We didn't, we had to stop your worship because we were brought back to 7.3.
We did.
So we didn't continue with 8.1.
Okay, that's what it's saying, 8.1 recommendation.
the council received the information on the outcome of the public input regarding the sale of the old library for discussion.
Chris? Oh, second?
Second.
Discussion?
So it says 31 people have put in a thing saying they do not support the sale of the library, the old library. And 7 are blank that were sent in. That doesn't make sense. So there were 7 people that put blank sheets in.
Sam?
7 people turned in the paper with no markings on it.
I
had to account for all the pages in my packet. I'm still understanding the process of that.
So there was nothing in favor of it?
No.
No, because I didn't ask the question.
No, it was only,
Do not support the sale.
They weren't asked if they supported it.
So would you like us to put it back out?
so only 31 people said that they do not agree with it, and the rest approve to be.
What did they say? We don't know.
Well, they didn't respond, so obviously they're fine with it.
Not
Could
necessarily.
be, you could look at it that way,
This is a
yeah.
negative, we put out a negative response. We only had 31 negative responses, and out of the 770 some people, 31 people responded negatively. So we have 640 people that are saying they're okay with it because they didn't respond. So I think
No, that's,
that's how this is.
that's interpreted. I would recommend.
Well, this is how you interpret it. You can interpret it the other way too then.
Yeah, that's right. So we can try again.
With the other question, you mean?
Yeah.
Asking
If
if
they,
favor, please respond?
Yeah.
I would agree in the sense that we don't know what this means.
No, it doesn't. It's,
I mean, 31 people out of 700 people is like, what is it? I don't know. So-
But we do not want to be bind by, like, we're not asking a yes or no, it has to be one or the other, because then it is binding.
Chris?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. I would agree with Councillor Smith. If we go out with a second, second request, then we've essentially constituted a vote. In my opinion, at that time, we can get a legal opinion on that, but I believe that would meet the requirements of constituting a referendum at that point.
So is this, if you don't mind asking, is this an exercise in futility then? That
Pretty
this
much.
issue, we don't have?
The way I read it was going to be sold to one specific person.
No.
That's how I read it.
The church.
No, but that's not one person. But one person owns a church. It's a group of people. And it's-
It would be sold to the community church as one entity, right?
It's not open to any other taxpayer?
It's not, no, they're the ones that put the offer on the table of $25,000. And yes, I've had people come up to me and say that they would pay $26,000. So this is why we're sitting here now. Barb?
We initially did not say that we wanted to sell it. They came to us and said they wanted to buy it and gave us an offer. And that's why we went out with this questionnaire.
We're not actually stating that it's going to be sold to one person. What we're looking for is the opportunity to actually, even if we have to put in the same bid price, what we're looking for is like a community center for elders and youth to be, we're gonna run programs out of there, like through the Métis Society, as well as Sadie is gonna be wants to run a program to deal with elders, and especially a lot of elders that are looking after little kids for their own daughters or granddaughters and stuff like that. A place for them to go, as well as the youth, put some youth programming in there. We actually are here to not to outbid anybody, but to actually see if we can put in a proposal to be able to actually either put a bid in or ask for a donation for that building. The Métis Nation of BC is willing to give the Métis Society here, $1,000 a month to help them to run some of these programs, as well as there is other program dollars out there through the Métis that they can run programs out of the building, which will actually bring in more youth, involve them in a lot more stuff within the village, as well as our elders. It's not like if we're asking for, like you said, one person or a group. It's going to be for the community, for our elders, for our youth. And it's a big enough building where we can run a lot of different programs out of there. With them kind of facilities, we can apply for a lot more different funding dollars through Aboriginal funding, through other funding, and it's not going to be just there for Aboriginal people.
Yeah,
It's going to be open.
It's only the old library.
Yeah.
It's not the old village office.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Colleen?
Our village food bank needs a home too, and that's a village funded asset. And we need a home for that as well. So maybe we should look within before we go without. So just a thought on any of that, because we have our own function that we provide funding for, has no home.
And we also have other things that we're looking at an option for that building.
So what we're asking for is, can we put in some sort of proposal for the building where it is going to be looked at, as well as you're looking at the other areas
We
that
actually
you
can
want?
have it for sale. It's
Yeah.
not for sale.
I know, we know
They
that,
just-
we
they
understand. We
sent
don't want
us
to put in a
along,
higher bid.
so.
We're not asking to put a higher bid or anything like that. We're asking for the opportunity for the building to use it for, like I said, for programs for the youth, for the elders. And it's gonna stay, like, it's not gonna be for out of province stuff. It's gonna be for the village here. And
So
it's-
how come
and
we
it's
can't use the community center?
the community center right here in Boost?
Yeah.
Will they give us office space? Will they give us place to operate out of full-time? See, this is what we're looking for. And that building would be perfect for it, where there'll be lots of, the thing is, we just want the opportunity to be able to put in a proposal where it's gonna be looked at in a fair manner, and to be able to present it to you with other projects that you guys are putting forward, like the church, like your food bank. We would like that same opportunity to bring something forward where it's gonna be looked at in a fair manner.
Yeah, no, we actually have the food bank and have other options for it. We put it out there just to see how the taxpayers felt about it. And obviously 34 of them only agreed. Chris?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Just to remind council too, there is a lease in place with the community church for that building at the moment, so.
Till December.
Council couldn't entertain any change
Anybody
in use
anywhere.
or ownership until at least that lease expired.
That's right.
Sorry. But, well, we hear, did you try, the Adolph store? Did you try there?
No. That's privately owned, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what we're after is, like, Sadie and them they've been members of the Pushkubi community for years, as well as my family.
Yes.
We've been here for a lot of years, a lot more than most. We're part of the community as well as anybody else. We're looking at an equal opportunity. Like what you're doing out there right now, you're just saying, well, we're gonna either put it this or this. That's the only choices. You're not putting it out there for another group within the community to be able to have a fair chance at running something out of that building. And that's what we're asking for, a fair opportunity, just like you're doing, they're not doing, actually. You're just saying, these are the only options. You're not giving any other options whatsoever.
They came to us, Walter.
Yes.
This is what happened. They came to us, and we decided that we would put it out to the taxpayers to tell us if we should sell that building or not. We have a bylaw in place that says we cannot sell a building under fair market value. So, that's where it sits.
Yes, but only
We
to
have
that
lease
one
with them.
person. You're only selling it to the church. You're
We're not
giving
selling it to
everybody else.
anybody.
Well, if that's what the, your letter or whatever came out to.
Should we
Yeah.
sell it to them?
Yeah,
That's all.
but what we're asking for is the opportunity you're giving them.
Yeah,
Well, we just want a fair opportunity to be able to put in a proposal. If you're gonna end up, if the village decides to end up selling the building for 25,000 or whatever it is, we just want the opportunity to put in something that is gonna be looked at fairly, the same as the church has done.
Oh,
The church has
definitely.
done, like, they
Definitely.
put in a proposal, you guys put out a call out to see if you could sell that building. And with your next call out, what we'd like before that's done is if we could put something in where it's gonna be part of that call out. You know, there's more organizations and, community programs that could be run out of there. And we would like to have that opportunity, is what we're saying. We don't want, what we're saying, we don't wanna just say, don't kick them out of there, they made this wrong. We want the opportunity to be able to put something in, to be able to apprehend that building just the way they are, and to be able to use it.
Yeah, but we're not giving up the lease yet, so.
No, I know that, but the call that,
But
it
if
was
we
out
do
there,
sell
it's
it,
out
yes.
there now. You know, you guys put out the letter, it's out there now, that there might be an opportunity. Is what we wanna do is there's a fair chance at that opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
8.2 recommendation,
Once we receive the information on the outcome of the public input regarding the possible closure of access to Highway 2 from 50th Avenue and 50th Street for discussion.
I'll second.
and discussion.
I don't think we should close it, obviously, everybody else thinks the same. Darren, you live right there on that corner. We have lots of people coming right off this highway, right down your street, speeding up the road there.
The worst thing on our street is there's so many little kids that play like in the yards, and then they come out onto the road, and we have a lot of people who live in by our place.
Yeah, Ray used to live on that street
Yeah.
too.
I hate that.
Pardon?
The only thing I question is 50th Street, is it? Like, I don't want to block the turnoff coming off the highway because you're coming in. But it's the people that are coming from this way and they have to go across the opposing lane to go straight across. That's where I think we're having
There's a
problems.
sign you're not supposed to.
Exactly. But if we put tried out cement barricades across there for the summer, just to see how it would go to stop that speeding.
So do you think closing your side of the street off, not the main side, but your side, do you think that would make a huge difference?
It probably would for the speeders.
Yeah, Larry?
Yeah, no, I agree for the.
So you would, big cement barricades
Yeah, that
would be
fine.
suffice for that?
What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, we see people almost on a daily basis, and they come down there at a pretty good lick,
Yeah.
you know? And, as was mentioned, there's kids out on the street, there's kids going to school. Yeah.
But if we block that street off, there's a business
I mean,
right
right
there.
on the corner.
He'd have better parking.
He'd have better parking.
Yeah, but how? Because you can't get to it.
He has no parking now. He goes.
So you'd have to
We have
go
to
from
go
the other
around.
side to go around to get to his business, yeah, I guess. That's true.
So can we put a motion on the table to have administration price out some blocks just for the one?
It's not a permanent,
Just for
it's
that.
just to try it,
Just to try that
to
street.
see if it makes a difference.
So right across that street, Or just one side of that street?
Block it all.
The whole street?
whole-
I'm just, so they had to clarify.
Yep, thank you, Richard. We've got 10,000 already in the capital and special project proposal for that work.
Are they
Just-
bright
have to
orange,
put-
so nobody drives into
We
them?
have to put some big signs because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll
Somebody's
need to-
gonna drive right into
We'll
them.
need to consult the traffic engineer and just get them to design as something that'll meet the requirements. But yeah, it'll likely be concrete barricades, painted yellow maybe, or some other color with some obvious signage and stuff. But,
Like, that's gonna fix you guys, because you obviously can't go out right onto the highway.
Yeah, it'll be a
sometimes.
pain to go to work and come home, but for slowing down the traffic, it would
It's
be
a
nice.
double-edged sword.
That's the big thing, we just don't go up the street and make a right
Yeah.
turn, you got.
Well, there's two accesses.
Right
to
across
get
the
out.
street from my church, so.
Yeah, we're up to that drum.
Oh,
We've been
okay,
there for
we're,
30
we're
years.
sure district going on that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're in there for 30 years, so.
Yeah,
Can I,
that's
can I
nice.
recommend a motion then?
Yeah, there's a lot of speed.
No, I don't, we already come that way. Come down there, they're moving.
No, I always have to tell my dog to be
Yeah.
careful.
I make that motion.
You think it's go all the way back up.
All in favor?
For us, isn't it?
Council received the Peace River Regional District report from Councilor LeBlanc.
All in favor? 8.4 recommendation.
Recommend that council receive the budget proposal for public works, water fund, and sewer fund for discussion.
Second.
Discussion.
Thank you, your worship, for your moments, I will plug in. I printed copies of PowerPoint slides from everybody.
Does everybody in the gallery have them?
No, the gallery will just be off the screen here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Thank you.
Audience got smaller.
The numbers, that's you.
They know how long you talk.
I'm feeling like my items aren't that important right now. I don't know.
They just know how long we did you after they left.
I thought we were on a roll.
Yeah. So this one should be a pretty quick one, folks.
Just
That's
quick.
That quick. That quick.
Oh, it's done already.
Oh, I got my music going on in the background.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
like a little 70s rock to get us through a bunch of proposal here. There we go. Okay, so this is our second and final, technically, operating expense budget presentation. So agenda for tonight, we're going to go through 3 functional areas. Can everybody see that okay? Yeah? Okay. Public Works, which is essentially our transportation and roads, our water fund and our sewer fund. The reason I put fund there is because those funds, the water and sewer are unique in our accounting system in that they both have to have revenue and expenses match each other, balance each other out. So we'll be talking a little bit about the revenue side on those as well. So Public Works, everything that you'll see in Public Works is our wages and benefits, building and associated expenses, heat, lights, hydro, repairs. Fuel is a big piece of the Public Works budget, of course. Our street lights, the electricity for those is in here, and then street repairs, streets and lanes repairs and maintenance. So forecast for this year, we're looking at a small increase over the budget for last year of about 2.45%. Total budget for Public Works, just under $497,000. The numbers for those GLs, we can see here. So the major, the ones where the major shifts are occurring is again a little bit in the wages category. I've put an extra 10,000 in the equipment maintenance account this year. We did see this GL go a little bit over budget last year, but again, 24,000 of that was our greater repair. I don't expect that to be happening, but we have added a few pieces of machinery to the village's asset base here, so having a little bit of extra money to repair them makes sense.
Colleen just needs to say something.
Just two questions actually. First is the garage to telephone. What is that? How come so much? And the second question is the clothing allowance. Is that $4,000 for everything total for the year? Public Works clothing allowance?
Where's that?
Fourth on the bottom.
Is that all their safety equipment?
Yes.
I know, but is that 4,000 total amount per person? Because I know that they've been buying, like, some places buy a set of boots every year. Some people buy, some gloves and whatever. Like, do we have a bylaw or do we have a policy as to how many pairs a person can buy within the year?
Yeah, we do. Good question, Councillor Evans. That would be for the whole department for the year. Both the union manual and our new safety equipment policy that was approved last year by council speak to the amount of boots. If I'm not mistaken, it's 1 pair per year, eh?
And is it
Two
every
pairs
2
per
years?
2 years.
Every 2 years, okay.
It's
One
$250.
Ten
Can I
mils that-
clarify?
Yeah.
It's $200 per year, per person.
Per person.
And they get that $200
Yeah.
January 1st.
And so
What they do with it is their
I'm
business,
a new
but that's it.
hire. I get $200 a day.
On their first
starts.
paycheck, they get a $200 extra.
To buy
So
boots.
if they only last 2 weeks, they get the $200?
Technically, that is in the union agreement.
So we're putting $200 out extra for every new hire, and they're staying for a week or 2 weeks.
That hasn't
We
been
have no
happening
choice
a lot.
because that's what
Yeah.
the
It's in the
union.
union agreement.
Stuff
Contract
that's,
says.
stuff that's in the union manual is non-negotiable.
Interesting.
Yeah, so.
And the telephone?
I'm just looking.
Is that the cell phones and telephone, Chris, at the?
That would be any phone attributed to, directly attributed to Public Works. I'm just looking to see here. So last year, total telephone expenses were $3,439.
So that purchase, that becomes a purchase if they break their phone, that comes out of that
How
4,000?
many people have phones? And is it personal use phones?
I don't know off the
Is
top of
it-
my head, Councillor. I'd
Is
have
it
to-
personal use phones?
No, would be personal use
So the
phones.
phones are left at the shop every day?
They can't be.
They can't be there on call.
If you guys want more information on that specific line. Oh, Sandy's,
They all have village phones.
yeah, Blair's got one.
So
for
personal
sure.
use.
Blair has one, Bud has one,
Yeah.
Donna has one.
Blair has
Three-
his own personal phone that he calls me every once in a
Yeah,
while.
Blair's got two.
He's got 2 phones, but he has one that is shared between Public Works and the fire department.
So I'm just, okay, so we pay for their phones.
Yes,
So are all of them on call all the time?
they take turns being on call.
It's on rotation.
So is
But if
there
they're short-
minutes or are they limited to how many minutes or how much?
No, we have a plan. We have a plan for everybody.
And that doesn't go over the.
Chris and I
So
are
if
on
somebody
one
goes on
plan.
vacation and takes their phone, do we pay
No.
for their phone?
No, they don't take their phone when they go on vacation.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure we would not have a phone call from Cuba or something like that.
Well,
Or
Edmonton, Calgary.
I have a phone for work. At this day and age, you have to have a phone. Especially our public works, a water line breaks 10 o'clock at night.
believe me,
What
I've
was
had
that,
a few of
Sandy?
those
Do you
calls.
carry your phone all the time?
Yes, yeah.
So Bud carries it all the time, Donna carries it all the time, and Blair carries it all the time.
And you
And
can't
Donna
just,
uses hers in her off hours.
and when
It's
they
her-
have their
That's
own
the deal they
phones,
have.
you know who you're calling. If they switch the
Her
phones
phone, but you
around,
pay for it.
you would know
So she would
if,
have on all this stuff.
Yes.
That's your question.
Yeah, so they do.
So, does she get that deducted, her personal calls off the paycheck?
No, this is part of the plan.
So if they go over the plan, do we still pay for it?
No, because you can't tell who actually went
Yeah.
over on the data. It's a group plan. Every once in a while, it does go over. I know, because I get notifications,
Yeah,
but
I do too.
it's not necessarily you, but that's
Oh, yeah.
part of the deal of working and being on call, right? They're always available.
if it went over the data and you seen the invoice or the bill,
Yeah,
you would say to yourself, what went on last month. Oh yeah, there was a water line broke, or whatever. You're not gonna micromanage the
Well,
phone
and 9
calls.
times out of 10, that's what it is, right?
Or,
pictures that Blair sends.
Yeah.
Sends.
I'm not worried about Blair.
And-
I'm not.
And
And he's part of that plan.
Important.
Yeah,
I'm
and,
not-
and same with Bud.
Not saying,
Bud's on call.
yeah, Bud and Don are on rotational calls for the most
I
part.
just think
so.
maybe personal use might have, you know, just an opinion is maybe we're paying for the phone, right? And I know that they're spending their time and whatever, but are we paying extra because of the personal use? Chris?
Something to consider. If you guys want, I can look into that a little deeper, but I'd literally have to go through everybody's cell phone record line by line and
How much
try and.
are their cell phone bills, Sandy, a month? I don't know, I'd have to talk to Trina. Can you bring that back to?
Well, to give you an idea for that, the public works, so anybody attributed to public works would have been last year, for example, Jason, Blair, Bud, Donna, and Pete while he was on staff.
so that's 4 phones or
Five
phones?
throughout the year. We incurred $3,400 of expense. So is $200 of that personal use? Maybe. I don't know, I can't say for sure.
Sandy?
In your public workshop alarm line, is that the cost of the alarm or is that the cost of the transmissions that are going through?
That would be the invoice from the alarm company, if I'm
Okay,
not
so-
mistaken, Cindy.
Also in the Public Works garage telephone, you will have 2 calls a day that are long distance going to Fort St. John for the alarm system. We have them on that building, and this building. Every time you set the alarm, every time you turn it off, it's dialing on a long distance call.
Ah, interesting. Good.
Good info.
Yeah.
Good info, Sandy.
Hey, I don't know, just, I'm good.
Any other questions on that one?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Somewhere around repairs and maintenance, operating fuel, I increased the budget there this year. Our operating fuel for last year was 26,470, so we were just under budget, or sort of just over budget, I should say. We all know fuel getting more expensive. We eliminated the line for the debt repayment. This was put in last year's budget because we were contemplating financing that new trackless, but it came in at 54 grand, so it wasn't worth doing all the accounting to track that loan for that amount of money. And that's basically it, folks. So about 11,000 in terms of increase, 11, almost 12.
So the insurance has gone up? Is that the insurance you're talking about for what we were talking about earlier?
No, thanks, Your Worship. That, so that came in after this was all drafted. I found out about that yesterday. So I reported to council on March 21st there that our insurance premiums were going up, and there was a little bit of a discussion about it. It turns out I was misquoted by the insurance rep out of Prince George. They're not going up by $3,000 to $18,000, they're going up by $18,000 overall. So our property insurance is going from just under 15 to about 33,000. And that's simply a result of the insurance company wanting to recover some of the cost of the claims that we've had. I spoke to the rep again yesterday. She's already out shopping, but she's mentioned to me that 2 of the companies that she normally deals with for property insurance have come back and said, nope, we're not touching these guys with that claim history. So we could be in a scenario where, we have to absorb this. We don't have a choice. The policy is due April 15th.
So that gave me Brent's phone.
Yeah, so she's, and our insurance rep is actively looking, but it might be a case of it is what it is. So for the final budget draft, then I might have to do some adjustments to the insurance line.
But that's good, we got street lighting up there.
Yeah, street lighting was increased a little bit. We're adding street lights, we know, to the community, so we overshot that budget by a little bit there too. So I gave us about a $500 buffer for electricity and stuff, and we know there was a number of street lights that were out for a significant portion of last year, which we did escalate to BC Hydro. It just seems like we're not super high on their priority list.
Maybe the newspaper will say something.
Yeah.
Did we check all the shut-off valves and everything we were working on last year? Did we get that all completed? Or do we have another bout or another section that we will be checking the valves
Yeah.
and the curb stacks?
Good
and all
question.
that?
We're still actively working on that. I don't remember the numbers that came up in a staff meeting a few months ago. We've either done 25 or we still have 25 left to check and fix, but I can get back to you with
Okay,
that number if you want. But long story short, no, we haven't managed to do them all. We're still, there's plans in the works to do those this year too. That expense is actually over in the water fund.
Okay.
Andre?
Can I just ask a question? Chris, is the reason why the summer students is less by about 5,000 in your budget?
Good question. So last year, we undershot the summer students' budget by a significant margin. We had 35,000 in there, and we only spent, and this is an unaudited number, but just under 19,000. When I went in and looked at the allocation for summer students, we actually overestimated the number of hours for them. Not really overestimated per se, but the summer students did take some time off and the odd day off here and there for whatever reason. So I reduced the summer students' forecasted hours by about 15%, which, you know, gives us that lower number. We might still be high there too. We are forecasting 4 summer students this summer. We'll see how many we're actually able to get. But basically that was nothing other than looking at what we'd actually spent last year versus what the budget was and saying, is that number still reasonable? So
Thanks.
yeah.
Okay, so now on to the water.
On to the next one. Water fund. So this name's kind of self-explanatory, but it's our water, cost of water, and then the water delivery system. We do have an increase in the water fund this year over on the expense side, but that's mainly due to increased water consumption from the city of Dawson Creek. We're literally seeing more volume of water that we're paying for. There's no profit margin for Post or anything like that. Dawson just bills us what we end up drawing from the system. And we're adding houses to town and businesses and so on and so forth. So it stands to reason that we're actually spending more on water than we were previously. And I put a note down there that water expense is totally neutral as the water's billed back to the residents and businesses at exactly the rate we pay for it to water. Numbers in the water fund. So both sides of this equation, again, folks, you know, residential water sales, I increased that budget because again, we're selling more than we were in previous years. And that's evident in the usages down below, both on the residential and the commercial side. Rest of the revenue side stays pretty much the same for total revenue of about 305,000. And then just the other expenses, this is mostly where the increase in that water fund is coming from.
So it says water facility assistant grants.
Yeah.
So what kind of grant is that?
I'm not sure, your worship, that's a line that's been in the budget, it looks like for a number of years. It's never been used, but it basically just pulls through the budget program every year. So I did look back and I haven't seen anything in past years there.
So is it that, when that starts to get built, will that come out of there?
I'm not sure. This could have been just a lingering GL it could have been something that was used 10 years ago, but it pulls through in the budget, the budget program. So that's the type of thing the new municipal 360 will eliminate in the presentations they're going forward to. It's an old stagnant GL, it just the program setup just doesn't pull through in the future budgets. We upped fire hydrant repairs and maintenance by a little bit. Yeah, nothing really wow factor in the water
What's
fund.
water miscellaneous? I hate miscellaneous.
Just general repairs and maintenance to the various water
To the
systems.
lines.
What would be something in there?
Water valve,
No.
shut off valves, or those
No,
water
the
meters?
shut off valves are all in the, here,
Water shut off.
water main repairs and then water line service maintenance as well. I don't know, what did we spend in miscellaneous last year? Water fund. Water miscellaneous was 3,900. If you'd like more info on that, your worship, I'd have to actually go into Maze and go into the GLs and pull
We'll do that
see
Friday.
what was charged there.
Colleen?
Do we have something in infrastructure, or am I just not seeing it?
Water
Repairs?
infrastructure. It says, water main, line, main parts and repairs.
Yeah, we've essentially got two, so there's that 40,000 there, Councilor Evans, and then there's the 8,000 up here, but bear in mind, this section of the budget will only be for things that fail or need replacing. If you're talking upgrades and whatnot that's planned out ahead of time, that would form part of the capital budget.
So not on this side, but on the.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, anything new or anything that we're significantly upgrading or altering from its existing state ends up on the capital budget. So like those shut-off valves or the curb stops like Councilor Smith was talking about, because we've got one in place and we're repairing or replacing a defective one, the cost would find its way here as opposed to a capital budget.
Anybody else? Sewer, yeah.
Last but not least, sewer fund consists of sewer and sewer drainage systems, which in our case is a little bit of sewer pipe and then mostly the culverts, so culvert work there as well. Sewer fund also includes both revenue and expenses. We've got a forecasted decrease in that area of about 12,500 from 2017, mostly due to a decrease in sewer repairs and maintenance, which has been historically underspent. So, like I did for the summer students, when I go into the planning process, I look at, the actual expenses in all of these and where we're consistently underspent. I reduce the budget accordingly, so residential sewer sales, none of that's really changing from the previous year, with the exception of this sewer facilities assistance grant. That is our sewer lagoon desludging grant that we have out there right now. It's scheduled to wrap itself up here in this year. We got stalled out in that project in 2017 because the actual desludging unit, however that looks, when Urban Systems went out and tried to get quotes for us, they were way out of whack with what the original project was quoted. So Eric and another guy whose name I can't remember right now are trying to find some other way to make that work. But basically, this budget revenue number, we didn't come anywhere close to it. We were, because that's one of those grants where we don't get it up front, we have to actually do the activity and then submit it back after. So that, yeah, $2,000 was what we got out of that.
So there's a question I have for you. So the water that comes from the water tower, that's water fed, right? There's a pump in that tank up there and that brings the water down to you. There's no pump.
Don't know.
It's all
Probably
gravity.
anywhere.
So can you find that out for me?
Yeah. Sandy, can we make a note of that on the tracking sheet? I know a lot of it is gravity, but whether or not it's gravity fed to around elevator and then pumped horizontally across. So there may be, there might be a pump up there or somewhere else in the community. Yeah. Or it could just be gravity fed, I don't know.
Yeah, I just had questions about that.
Okay.
Wouldn't we know if there's a pump? Because Public Works would have to go and maintain it or whatever. I don't think there's any
I didn't
pumps.
know for sure off the top of his head. I don't
I've
know.
never heard of a pump.
No, I've never heard anyone mention a pump anywhere on the project, to be honest with you, but that doesn't mean we don't have it. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, if you can just ask for
Yeah.
that, because he has a water ticket, right?
Yeah. Any other questions there? No?
We're miscellaneous again.
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Welcome.
8.6,
No, Your Worship, sorry, can I just get a motion if everybody's okay with those to include those as presented in the final draft of the two?
So moved.
I'll second.
all in favor? 8.5, solar initiative celebration. Yeah, those are the late items.
So
Solar initiative
advise council the upcoming community solar initiative celebration has held June 2nd, 2018 from 10 to 2.
It's a lot of money for 10 to 2, what's that, 4 hours?
What did I count?
$125.
I'd be willing to go if you're, someone else doesn't want to go.
So somebody should sell it, go.
I believe we should support, Hudson Open. I'll offer to go.
Everybody all in favor that Andre goes?
I'm gonna say opposed. $325 and, yeah, that's fine.
8.6, travel to Halifax for FCM conference.
Do you want us to read the whole thing, Your Worship?
Yeah, you
So purpose to advise council that upcoming FCM conference in Halifax from the 31st to June 4th, 2018. Background, FCM 2018 annual conference and trade show moves east next year to beautiful Halifax from the 31st to June 3rd, 2018. With dozens of engaging workshops, study tours, and keynote speeches from Canada's federal political leaders. This is one event you won't want to miss. Network and learn from your peers while being a part of the incredible municipal momentum that's shaping this country. Mayor McKetty wishes to attend this conference, as other mayors from the region will be attending and continue lobbying for LNG. And it tells us the cost, total cost would be $4,305.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that the mayor attends this conference.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Done. 8.7, DC Chamber of Commerce.
Request that council approve for registration to the Dawson Creek Chamber of Commerce MLA Night Burnie April luncheon to be held on April 13th, 2018 in Dawson Creek.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry, Andre. Reading?
Sorry.
Did you want me to read the rest?
No, I'm reading it. All in favor?
Oh, I'd like to go.
You'd like to know?
Okay.
As it's my portfolio, I'd like to do.
So 4 of us? 4 of us will be attending.
5.
5. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I count them. I see a lot. Okay. Got it down there, Sandy? Okay. 9.1, oh no, 8.8 cannabis motion. I would like to put the motion on the floor. As it laid out, it was, yeah. A motion that the village will support the sale of retail cannabis when the federal government legalizes its sale later in 2018, and that administration will direct and amend bylaws and policies as needed to permit such sale in reasonable manner.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion?
Are we, yeah, I just thought, Your Worship, are we going to set up some zoning areas? Is that correct? Specific?
Yes, Chris will, whatever that he has to do to get.
So, okay, so zoning and then different parameters and stuff like that, and I don't want to have 70 different businesses in use. So, you know, we have to set
A limit.
a limit of how many.
Yeah, I agree.
But, and then, like, there's places in Vancouver that's residential, some places are commercial, some places, you know, that kind of thing too. There's a lot of residential businesses in Vancouver area that they run just out of a house and they're set up, you know, but.
They don't have a business license.
Yes, they do.
They do?
Oh, yes, they do. They're fully regulated.
Because Gregory, when we were down there in Squamish, he said that none of those shops have business license.
Right on the wall. And police are right there and, yeah, it's.
Chris?
Thank you. I can speak to some of that now, if council would like. So, there was, there's been ongoing training about all the cannabis stuff coming down the pipeline, like what the representative said tonight. A lot of it's still in the gray area. The province has issued a draft legislation for cannabis licensing. As they said, it looks like it's only going to be to established existing liquor retail outlets, so kind of piggybacking the two. So the idea of that, free-for-all in cannabis shops all around an entire block of nothing doesn't look like it's going to happen at this stage of the game. It also, the draft legislation says that in order for a retail liquor outlet to get a license, the application to the province must be accompanied by a resolution of council approving the application as well. So the province has kind of loosely said it's still in the control of the municipality. So 10 people apply, council doesn't support any of the applications. Theoretically, at this stage of the game, nobody gets a license.
But the policy should say background check, all that kind of stuff.
That'll be
It can't be.
That'll be at the provincial level, Your Worship. So
We can't.
Can we put a policy
Like that in place?
that we won't issue any letters without, where it's gonna be like for security, for
No, I think only on the highway, down.
all
down
the
four.
things that we,
Yeah, and we can set, and Councilor Smith, you and I have talked about, the C1 zones, and I think you and I have spoken about it too, Councilor Lemoine. There's a few of our C1 commercial zones that are actually in pretty close proximity to the elementary school. So the thought right now is that we put a number of meters in the policy that says, council won't support an application that's within 250 meters of the elementary school. I mean, clearly we want to look at one that was within a reasonable distance of a liquor store. If council's in support of the idea of retail cannabis, if there's a liquor store, let's say it's 750 meters from the school right now, well, to turn around and say, well, we don't want retail cannabis within 1.5 meters, basically makes it so that nobody in town can go at that point. So we probably want to look at what our closest liquor store is and then set the distance.
And no drug-free zone.
Similarly, yeah, and that's something to consider too. And that one's come up, Your Worship. We've got the park right next door to Town Hall here, which is labeled as a drug-free park. So we may want to consider putting language in that, in that policy around that too. The conversations I've had with with lawyers and then other municipalities at the conferences, we're actually pretty well set up right now. Where everybody's hitting panic mode is those communities that have, the council resolution is, no, we don't want any of this stuff in our town, this isn't us, just shut it all down. Those are the communities that are running into issues where they're having to backstep and redo bylaws to prohibit it. They're gonna be facing an uphill battle though, because at some point somebody's gonna challenge that in court. And there's numerous examples where things that are legal at the federal and provincial levels, municipalities have come along and said, no, we don't want that in our town, and those folks challenge it 9 out of 10 times they win. Because the legislation at the higher levels of government says this is actually a legal activity. So you guys, where those kind of court challenges have happened, the municipality has been required to set up some zone within their bylaws that allow that activity to take place. So with us right now with cannabis, we actually don't need to do a lot if council's in support of the idea. Just establish some distances. The idea of doing it out of homes, our zoning bylaw right now only permits home-based businesses, but that's professional practices, so not retail outfits. So anything retail sales would strictly be permitted in the C1 zone. And again, even if somebody did come along and say, oh, I found a loophole in the R1, I want to sell it out of my basement, council can simply say, no, sorry, we're not supporting that license application. And then at that point, there's a 99% likelihood the person couldn't do it anyways.
Like I was saying, it's somebody living in the house, it's a house.
That property would have to get converted from residential to commercial inside a larger residential zone, and council's in complete control of rezoning with respect to properties.
if it follows through where they have to have a letter from council recommended that they are allowed to sell cannabis, they were in sport, could we not have a policy on what that letter, what
Their application is?
what we want to look for before we can submit that letter? That would give us a little bit more leeway if something down the road comes up where we have, all of a sudden, they make it legal on January 1st and January 2nd, we get 300 people walking in here. The way to weed it out with that policy would be, it's so many meters, this liquor store, blah, 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 blah.
That's part of my plan with that activity, Councillor Smith, that it kind of be sort of a checklist, you know, a list of criteria, here's all the things you have to meet, you know, tick it off, similar to the business license application or any other application.
Would they have to have extra security? An alarm system or something?
And that would be,
That would be up to them.
That would be up to them, yeah, that would be a private,
Oh,
private
okay.
landowner issue. What I, you know, you
We're not,
mentioned.
we're not throwing it.
And you guys mentioned a moment ago about the criminal background checks and stuff like that. That's all gonna be completed at the provincial level, and I don't think it would certainly bog down administration if we were to do those kind of checks here internally. We might actually run into privacy issues with it too. We've got no need to know that information. You know, at the municipal level, we're just looking at it from a zoning standpoint and those types of things.
I don't want some scary person.
And, well, bear in mind, too, your worship, I think that's why the province is looking at tying it into the liquor licenses, because a lot of that background check information already happens at the liquor license level. So again, to prevent something from happening in a residential, somebody can't just open up a standalone pot shop without another sort of business model around it. And I think they're doing that to prevent what you're saying too, Councillor Smith, is that flood of people. Great, I'm ready to become an entrepreneur overnight, I'm gonna start selling.
I'm gonna buy Cookie's Restaurant.
Right, yeah.
And
Who doesn't ever want to run a weed wagon, just like the old song? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The thing to consider with all of this too, is it looks like that's the draft legislation. How it evolves over time, I don't know. A lot of the people that went to the federal election, you know, and voted for candidates because of this as one of their main election drivers were under the opinion that once this became legal, they were gonna become entrepreneurs and get rich overnight, you know, selling marijuana. I know when Ontario passed their legislation that said it's only gonna be in Ontario branded liquor stores, the people were outraged. And it was exactly that, or, you know, the comments were out there in the media, well, I supported your government because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and now it's a monopoly, and so on and so forth. So, there may be one or more provinces that come along and say, yep, now free for all, you can do it whatever, wherever you want. At that point, you know, do we want to throw away those businesses? I don't know. If we've got the policy set that they're still within 2 or 3 distances and we want to let fair market competition play itself out with 3 of these shops right next door to each other downtown, is that much of an issue? Right, one of them's going to thrive, 2 of them are probably going to fail. So that would be up to sort of supply and demand market forces to fix that. Because, you know, with these shops, there's only going to be so much supply and demand in a given community, right? But yeah, long story short, the direction that we need, you know, I say administration at this point from council is sort of, you know, a clear, you know, one way or the other on the fence. We like the idea of it. Crisco put something in place that'll either, you know, will make that work. Or if you guys defeat this motion tonight, then that says to me that no, council's not interested in this, and then I need to do some, you know, the more legwork to kind of pull us away from it. So, balls in your court.
If they made it legal tomorrow, how fast? Because we do want, like, to assist if somebody wants to do this. Like,
Good question, Councillor Smith, and that's come up to, if they make it legal tomorrow, nothing happens. Even though we haven't done any of the legwork or any of the policy, again, under the draft framework right now, the application has to have a letter of support from council. You guys can say no to every single one of them until we've got our ducks in a row and we know how we want this to look inside the town.
So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and Chris to.
Motion's already on the floor.
Okay, so I'll second it.
All in favor?
All in favor? Alright.
no,
And then pick what we like. And this council received a letter on cannabis sales tax. They did that down at UBC, or where did I go? Squamish. Mayor Caucus. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, sorry, not to interrupt you on that one, Your Worship, if you're...
The Mayor Caucus have asked that this happens, that they would get a third of the revenue from the government on the cannabis. Anyway,
Your worship, we never sent the letter, didn't we?
yeah,
We've already sent
but
letters.
the Mayor Caucus also
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
asked for a third.
Oh, okay.
And these are kind of going back and forth now. All the municipalities are sort of getting on board. We're probably looking at these on our agendas for several more months. Long story short, when they hit our offices and they're addressed to mayor and council, put them on the agenda for you guys, but we've already done our piece one. If I may, Your Worship, page 43. It's the administrative report to council from municipality of Whistler. I actually would recommend to council that if you guys think this is a good idea, and I actually do think it's a really good idea, that we draft a letter of support for this as well. Essentially, what Whistler's proposing is that they've noticed in their finances that a lot of the fines they're levying from a bylaw standpoint are going unpaid. Partly because, municipalities generally, nobody's gonna go and take up court time for a $150 outstanding fine. The cost benefit ratio to pursue that follow up is just not there. So what Whistler's actually come up with a really creative solution for it, and that they use ICBC as a collection agency for municipalities at the point of license renewal. Pretty cool idea. So I don't know if there's gonna be sort of an administration fee or a collection fee tied to that. We all know ICBC's starving for dollars, so I would bet dollars to pesos. But if that, yeah, and in our case too, so even if we gotta give 20% of whatever the outstanding fines is to ICBC to collect it, that's better than we were the day before. And in this, it sounds like they would prevent the individual from renewing their license if there was a large outstanding fine from the municipality.
I'd like to make the motion that we send a letter of support to Whistler.
Whistler, yeah.
I'm sorry.
All in favor? That's crappy, didn't you see that? $6 million in unpaid fines as of 2016.
And that's just an estimate.
So nobody else sees anything else? Okay, so we have resolutions, none, bylaws, none, administration reports.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Don't be worried, what you said.
I've only got, 9, 10 items, but they're quick. So, received the animal control officer report for the month of March here. Les was after 2 dogs at large, 1 complaint of a noisy dog, 1 complaint, actually 2. He reported on 1, but he actually mentioned this to me too, of someone taking all of their melting dog snow feces and shoveling it over the fence into the back alley. So Les is on that guy pretty hard. Les did mention in this report that we have eliminated a few of the previous repeat offenders he's been following for the last couple of years. They seem to be on board with the program now. And he also mentions that he's really looking forward to us reviewing the animal control bylaw here for 2018. I did comment to him that we were going to review that. The thing he's specifically looking for is something in the bylaw that prevents dog owners from leaving their dogs chained up in their backyard 24/7 nonstop. So he says he's aware of several.
Well, there's one up his street.
Yeah.
There's one behind his street.
Yeah, he's mentioned there's a number of them that, especially in the winter, just, he gets chained up outside and, off to a 14-hour shift and see when I get home kind of thing, so. And I agree with that, I think that's, he did mention that he's read the Dawson Creek one, and that was something they put into. Received confirmation from the SPCA that the cat control program is launched and underway. They took care of all the advertising for us, so it's out there on Facebook and the other media media outlets. so.
And how many cats of ours had heard?
To my knowledge, right now, none yet, but it was only put up there last week, so.
Hopefully that lady at the Noakesville reads, and hopefully she's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put that in our news.
Yeah, that's
No,
gonna be
that other lady that
The
has,
feral cats.
yeah.
the spay and neuter program for the feral cat.
So should we put that in the newsletter?
And then we just asked residents to make sure to contact Les or the SPCA to make arrangements for items under that cat control program. We reviewed the website extensively after your comments there from a couple of weeks ago. I think it was March 21st. We actually couldn't find any of the things you were mentioning, so are you able to?
Like, well, if you go on tablets or,
Well, and that's the issue. We're trying from laptops and our desktops, so.
There's writing in the background, I showed that to you, Sandy.
that's how it's set up.
That's how
Yeah,
it's set
then
up.
that's what you
But you
said.
can't see it.
Yeah. So to that end, would you be able to maybe give us some screenshots and or either, come in if you got an hour or something like that, Colleen, and we can go over it? Because I definitely want to get that escalated up to the website folks, but from our end, we just can't see it right now, so. March 21st, video recording was successful. We're working with iCompass right now to get it uploaded to the website. I mentioned our issue with Hub Insurance, so yeah, just to let council know, again, it wasn't a $3,000 increase to $18,000, it was an increase of $18,000 on top of what we're paying right now. I'm working on that as best I can. Due to some public work staff training happening on April 24th to the 26th, we need to move garbage day on the 26th to the 27th. We will put out multiple notices for that. Skateboard park design work has been commissioned by Canadian Ramp Company. Sandy and I are both away next week, Tuesday and Wednesday for election training in Prince George. So it'll only be Alistair and Trina here at the office. And over the next couple of weeks, I'll be working on the revenue side of the budget. First presentation for revenue is going to be April 18th. With that in mind, though, we are going to need a special meeting to get the budget wrapped up. So,
So what date would you?
yeah, I propose I can present the first complete draft of the budget to council on May 2nd. So you guys can do the 3 readings of both the budget and the tax rate bylaw on May 2nd. So with that, we could do a special at noon on May the 4th or May the 7th
When's
to get it adopted.
NCLGA, Sandy?
You guys leave, depending on who's attending what, you either leave the 5th or the 6th.
I'm leaving the 5th, or the 4th.
They're either leaving the 5th or the 6th for NCLG and they're going over.
Yeah, but I have the mayor caucus thing, right, so that's,
Here.
the mayors always meet together
Okay.
on the first day, the morning of the first day.
On the Monday.
That won't be till the 7th.
So let me
That's Thursday.
The
look at
7th,
that.
you guys are at a function.
That's
I know
the
you're,
Northern
I know
Health.
you're somewhere.
Northern Health Committee.
Yes.
meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's not in the morning.
And I think it's
It's
all
6
day.
o'clock in the morning.
That's
Oh,
all
it's
it is.
6?
Okay, so the 7th is out then.
You'll have to do it either
so we
the
can-
3rd or the 4th.
Yeah,
Do you have a
let's,
meeting on the 2nd?
yeah, so that'll be the
So then
the
we'll
full
have another
presentation.
one.
Okay, let's look at doing it noon on the 4th. It should be 10 minutes because that'll just be the 4th and final reading.
Is that Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you remind me?
Oh, yeah.
I'll remind everyone.
So we're saying May 4th?
May 4th, please.
Thank you for the reminders there,
And
Sandy.
just to let you know, most of May I'll be gone.
Huh?
I'll be gone most of May because the NCLGA.
Yeah.
Then I have a wedding in Terrace.
So that's
And then I'm in Vegas. So
They're missing conservation writing,
10 minutes. 4th and final.
So you're gone from,
so I'm taking that meeting.
are you here at all in May?
Probably not.
No? Okay.
Are you here, your worship, are you here for the?
After the NCLGA, then
I'm going way back here.
16th, you're talking, you're not
Are we
going to be
doing the
here.
calendar?
You're back on 6th, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, we're still doing the
Yeah.
CEO report. Are we on the CEO report?
Yep.
Are we good, Calvin?
I got one more.
So,
Back over to you.
All
I
right.
see the calendar in Sandy's hands.
Last but not least, I got a notification there that we've been approved for our Canada Day grant that we submitted. We didn't get everything that I was hoping for. We talked about 10,000 over the phone. They approved us for 3,500. So still, is it 32? 32. Okay, so
It's still 3 times more than we got the first year there, so. About
Still
1,000
money.
first year.
and that's it for me.
Okay, so action items. Does anybody see anything that they've done, changed, passed? No? Councilor calendars.
Now, I have a meeting tomorrow. That was the meeting, the library. Tomorrow is tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the 5th.
Tomorrow's the 5th, I have a meeting tomorrow.
What do you have? I don't have anything for you for April.
You sure?
Well, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
As it goes through.
I have you away in May.
That's a function.
There's a round table for the Peace River Regional District on the 9th.
Yeah, the 9th at Farmington.
Right, no.
I don't have-
Oh, that's,
Ninth years.
that's right there.
But we're supposed to go to the Encana thing.
So
Yeah.
that's.
You're going to the Encana thing on the 10th.
Okay, see, you still have something.
Yeah, 3 to 10.
You gave me this after I published the agenda, that's all. Like if you leave it to the
Yeah.
end.
People use tablets.
Well, so we
Okay.
would think anybody using tablet or.
What? There's the federal defense though.
Yeah, the website, the administrative.
In Canada.
April 4th.
Like this is insane, you don't see that.
You didn't see it.
Okay, so where are we now on the agenda?
Okay.
We're doing May?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're doing the calendars now?
Release.
Yes.
So I'll report on the 3rd. I'll be at Salto in Moberly Lake for a Peace River Regional District meeting
On May 3rd?
on May 3rd, yes.
Sorry, Salto.
It's a Salto First Nations. That's where we decided to have a meeting in Moberly Lake, BC. It's covered by the PRD.
Okay.
And then we're probably showing for the NCGLA, right? Okay.
So. Can I talk? Just kind of had a.
I can do the 16th at council meeting.
What?
No, I'm gone, I go on like 17th, 18th.
Okay.
The wedding is that long weekend.
So there's only those 2 meetings in May, the
Yes.
2nd and the
Good.
16th.
Your worship,
For
may I ask-
discussion of calendar. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so Site C, May 16th,
Yeah.
is also, it's that self-performance
Mhm.
with that company from Bruce Coopy, that Boss Business.
Mhm.
They're actually bringing someone in to explain that to us. If you recall, you said you wanted to be at that meeting.
And that's the.
And that's it, that's gonna be at Norton Grant.
Okay.
Lunch is provided between 12:30 and 1.
Are you going?
I'm going, yeah, I'm gonna ask for permission to go to this.
Yeah.
And 12:30 to 3 PM is the meeting in Port St. John. So I'm requesting to go to that, but I'd like to prove.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's the Site C.
The
I'm
Site C.
representative for it, the delegate for it, with the mayor.
Keeps us in the loop of who's working and who's not and what they're doing. Yeah.
So I make a motion, if you want to go, right?
Yeah.
They're both going. Okay.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Okay. We're off. Now,
Vote.
is
All in
that
favor?
all in favor?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we vote on it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Connie? What, do you have a report?
I do. Oh, can I ask something first? Sorry, it hasn't come up, but a while back you guys asked me to do a poll with some people for the NCLGA for travel up there.
Okay.
Okay, so all the communities got back to us, everybody's going up on their own.
Yeah.
The only one that came back to us was Hudson's Hope. So now you guys have to decide how you want to get there.
One my truck.
Are you driving
I'm
driving.
gonna have to.
to Fort Nelson?
To fly is gonna take you like
No.
20 hours.
We have to drive.
It's-
You don't take forever.
It's
but
Black Airlines.
Oh, I was gonna say,
If you fly.
No.
So,
Yeah,
do you, some of the choices were either you take your own vehicles, or we rent you a big enough vehicle that you can all go together.
is there
Boston pizza lemon
Huh?
over there.
gonna be booze on
You
there?
can take a spare wine with you as long as you have a designated driver.
Well, only Chris drove.
He's not going. He's staying here with me.
Oh,
You don't get him.
oh.
You're not going.
It's Mayor McKetty, Councillor Smith, and Councillor Boyd that are going.
I can go if you guys want me to
No,
go.
you can't, you're not registered, you can't go.
Well,
It's too late.
Can't we register? Because he should be going.
Is there any benefit to me going, your worship? Is
Well,
that
most CAOs do go. And
To
resolutions.
NCLGA?
There's, yes,
Yes.
there's resolutions and everything there can happen.
something- I've never been to one, to be honest. with you.
Well, that's why maybe you should go.
We'll discuss the logistics tomorrow.
Yeah. I took it for granted we were flying, like,
I'll have to make sure that.
Yeah, I'm trying to reverse the plan.
that's what I'm afraid of.
So can we both do a
Yeah,
motion for,
I'll have to,
Yeah.
I'll have the kids that week too, your worship.
Oh, so that'll work for you.
Well, it may, I'd have to speak to my ex-wife and see, but yeah, if I'm away that week, that means that, it'd be 3 weeks. Yeah. I'll look into it, if I can make it happen, then,
Okay. Did you guys want to make a
Councillor
motion?
Evans would like to go, or?
I just,
Okay.
so I attended the Peace River Local Government Association dinner that we hosted, and it was very good. Very good chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and I think that there's some good issues and topics that were discussed. Staff did very well, thank you for everything, for setting it up. I attended Chamber of Commerce today, and I have a library meeting tomorrow, and I will be attending Leonard Hubert's meeting on Monday. Good, that's it.
Okay.
Mr. Johnston.
I have nothing to report. My next meeting's already on the calendars.
Unless I'm keeping you in the loop.
I have a question for you. They're still gonna do the street garage sale?
Yes, absolutely. That's in the plans right now.
There was a post on Facebook today.
He's ripping that furnace over himself.
I know. I'm surprised he didn't have it done the next day. He was talking about it. It's still snowing.
Counselor Smith.
The NDITI participated by a conference call because the snow. I'm quite excited about the amount of money. They've changed there's more opportunities for Northeast to get grants. I attended Peace River Municipal Association dinner. Thank you. Awesome food. And what else? Oh, I attended the chamber luncheon today at noon, and I'm going to attend the next one with Mike Burns.
13.
Counselor Dubois.
Okay, so I attended the Peace River Regional District in Fort St. John on 22nd March. 28, like everybody else, attended the Peace River Local Government Association Foods, very well done. Good job for everyone concerned. April 4th, Chamber Luncheon today with Encana. We'll be attending the April 6th Shetland Trade Show this coming Friday, Peace River Regional District. April 9th, Peace River Regional District Roundtable with Area Director Leonard Hebert. And April 12th, Peace River Regional District, Dawson Creek. That's my report.
Thank you. Okay, so I was in Squamish. I came home for one day, went to Ottawa. Here is the information that happened in Ottawa. So we met with Finance Canada, Natural Resources, Prime Minister's Office, Privacy Council, BC Caucus, Innovation Science, Economic Development, and
How did the
Canada.
the feds feel about West and LNG?
They were really,
good about it. The only thing is that they're concerned about the steel. And Dale did a speech, Lori did their speech on their cities.
Is that
and-
because of NAFTA?
No, just because you can't bring this steel down from Sault Ste. Marie or through Revelstoke or Regina or Hamilton. Our highways will not carry it. They will not carry them on bridges, the overpasses. They want them in 8 foot or 8 feet high modules. We guaranteed them that most likely that those other steel companies would have the pipeline, that they have to have it to go out to market by the Asians or somebody, but they kind of are up in arms over having it go out of the country. And Hamilton is fighting back on it. So during the FCM, all the same mayors will be going down to Hamilton.
And that's what you guys are fighting for? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
to try and get
not
them
fighting.
to say, hey, you know, you're gonna have the pipeline, you're gonna have the pipelines, but you're not gonna, you can't have the modules. The modules have to come from Asia or Indonesia or somewhere across the country, because they're way too big. They cannot be brought up through our highways. But yeah, and the Prime Minister's office, his secretary was very, very nice. She said he had a curious mind. I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, here's the whole thing that we did. The speeches to.
That's the same issue that we have bringing up the oil and gas equipment. It's got to come up through Alberta. It can't come up through Prince George because the overpasses are too low. They're not wide enough. There's no access. Even some of our bridges that we have up here.
Well, they just don't hold the load. They won't hold the load.
Yeah.
And Lori, Dale, Kinamat did a speech, Terrace did a speech, and I did a speech on the fact that I have business in town. I have clients that have sold their equipment now in auctions because they've been waiting for 4 years. Some are holding on just by their fingertips because of this, just waiting. So the federal government needs to step up, or some of these people are gonna end up on welfare because they can't live in them, they can't pay their bills. That's what happened. So, and then, what else did I do? I came home. What did I do, Sandy?
Went to dinner.
Went to dinner. The supper you guys put on was awesome. I'd like to thank Alistair too. He's not here though. And the only thing is next time we do a budget, can we please put enough money aside so that you and Alistair don't have to clean it up yourselves?
We've spoken already about that issue. Because we had a conversation with him.
That's not fair to you guys. You guys did a wonderful job.
It was a long day for you.
And in staff defense too, the minutes from the previous meetings were all about an hour, so we were thinking it'd be an hour and a half, not a
Every
3-hour
meeting, the last 7 years has been like an hour.
But when they
That's
get
different
poos-
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, when they get poos, they like to have fun, they like to vent. The girls' table, the boys' table, like, hey, they have
We won't be seeing it for another, 7 years anyways, it'll rotate through all the other.
Well, I don't know,
municipalities
schedule's not done
first.
yet.
Yeah.
They're having it at the regional district for the next one.
North,
North.
No,
Councillor Evans,
Right.
I just want you to know that the washing machine that's over there is a dishwasher, as well as a sanitizer.
Oh, bonus.
really?
Alistair and I discovered it the next morning when we were finishing.
Oh,
Because we followed the hose that was going under the sink and the bottom said dishwashing liquid.
Because I'm sure it's just a sanitizer.
No, it's a dual purpose. You
They
push the
must have
button up,
changed
you push the button up to do soap and down
Make a
to
motion to
sanitize.
adjourn.